All right, welcome everybody. So exciting. All right, we're just getting everyone into the room right now and making sure that we're sharing on Facebook for those who are not able to join live. I mean, live in this one. Just 1 second as we're getting everything all set. Wow, fantastic. So exciting. All right, you can go ahead if you want to, and you can share. Actually, just 1 second. But yeah, in the chat, you can go ahead and share where you're joining from as I'm getting everything else set up here logistically. One question actually, is anyone familiar with Zoom technology? Actually, Connie, are you familiar with Zoom enough that I can make you a co-host right now and you can help me coordinate something? Or Monica, or let's see who would be good.
Yeah.
But Connie, okay. So that way I can do a couple of things. Okay, I'm gonna make you a host right now. So Connie, if what you can do is disable the waiting room, so that way you don't have to keep admitting everyone. That's number one. And then select it so people are mute on entry as well. That's another thing that may help. All right. Welcome everyone. So in the chat, go ahead and just put where are you joining from today, as we're getting the rest of everything all set up here. All right. Got people joining from Missouri, from India, South California, Portland, Oregon, Miami, Phoenix. Wow, so fun. Okay, just 1 second here. I am going to do it this way, I think. Okay, there's some people that may be joining through Facebook, so we're just still working on getting this part set up. All right. Oh my goodness, this week has been amazing in so many ways. So many things happening on so many levels. I'm imagining for everyone here. Okay, super. Let's see here.
Clint, you're unmuted.
Okay, super. Thank you, Connie. We're just cleaning up a little bit of the technical stuff. Connie, can you make me host again so that way I can share? All right, welcome everybody. Super. So as we're getting situated, everyone's putting in the chat where you're joining from, which is so fun. And Connie, if you can just see if you can make me host of the meeting again, so that way I can share it on Facebook.
You should be host because it tells me that you're the host now.
It just tells me I'm host.
Okay.
It says I'm a co-host, and it says you're the.
That's weird. Just go again.
This is one of those experiences where Aditi Devo Bhava comes in the form of technology. But I think,
Mhm.
all
Because
right.
it tells me that you are the host, so
Now it says I'm a host. Super.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. Let me open this up and put it into Facebook Live. I just want to make sure everyone who wants to participate is able to. So let's see if we can do this really quickly. As we're getting this ready, I want you to think about this last week and your application of these 3 principles and what happened in your life. And I want some people to be sharing about what was your personal experience as you were applying these 3 principles in your life. We're gonna start with a meditation, or it's a music and sound meditation, in which we'll drop from our heads to our hearts. And I would like it for this one if you keep your video on, because I'm going to spotlight certain videos through this process. And as I spotlight the videos, I'm going to just for a second, if you see someone on the screen, I just want you to share your love, just from your heart, just be beaming love at this person, okay? Because it's a miracle that we're gathered together, all of us, in this moment in time from literally all over the world. I mean, looking in the chat from so many different countries and so many different places and so many special guests we have here too. Actually, we have some very, very special guests. I see Lynn already noticed. And we're going to have a chance really to connect. But really, first of all, I want us to have a chance to connect with your own heart. All right, and I'm back. Okay, we're going to try this one more time here. If this works like this, then I will be so happy. Okay, here we go. Okay. So take a deep breath and just look at the faces of everyone and feel what you feel as you see this person and as you hold them in your heart with love.
Do you know how beautiful you are? Have you ever stopped to look at yourself? To see yourself in your truth?
Clint, your music's gone down.
What I can see. If only you could know what I know of you. You would stand before yourself in awe. You would see yourself you would feel yourself. You would know yourself. And so I invite you in this moment to see how beautiful you are. To to see yourself.
You're off again, Clint.
It seems that we do have a little technical issue here because it's constantly
Yeah.
jumping between me host and Clint host. I don't know what happens here.
Yeah, well, I did that on purpose. Right here in India, I'm calling from India right now. We're having a little bit of an internet issue. And so thank you for your patience. As I had to leave the meeting from that section of internet, I just made you the host again. If you can stay host, Cornelia, I'll just speak, and I want to introduce right now the guest that we have. But right before that, even though it was disjuncted, actually it's actually a really beautiful metaphor for our lives. You know, when we're trying to focus on our beauty, oftentimes lots of stuff gets in the way. Or when we're trying to focus on our strengths, or when we're trying to love, it's not like it's just like an easy coast. You know, it's usually a pretty bumpy ride with different things coming up inside of us that make it so it feels like there's that separation. So it's actually a good it's a good opportunity to meditate and say, can I love myself even, am I perfect even in my imperfection? You know, and am I lovable even in these parts of me that don't seem so perfect or so lovable? So thank you for exercising that muscle with me and doing that meditation. I want to say that when I see your faces, with or without music, with or without someone speaking it, I see so much beauty. I see so much, I feel in awe. I feel really grateful to be here with you right now and to be sharing this moment in which we're unlocking more miracles happening in our lives. Connie, if you can go to the gallery view, I want to ask a couple questions for everyone right before I interview the guests. So I don't know if you can see where to do that at the top, where you can just kind of see everyone's faces. It's a little. So my first question for everyone on this call is, I don't know if you're able to find it, like at the top, there's
It's
a
in
little
the
thing.
upper right corner. It looks like a little screen with 3 dots on top of it. And when you click, it's speaker view or it gives you gallery view.
Yeah.
So if you click on one of those, then it just switches. And
Super. Can you switch to gallery view and see if it switches for all of us?
I'm actually was in gallery view.
Okay, I don't know. I'm viewing on my phone, so it may or may not work, but I'll just scroll through and I'll look at your faces. I want to ask you, for everyone on this call, who feels like they've had some kind of either interference in their life or some major transition? Who feels like they're going through some big shift in their life, some major transition they're experiencing? And I just want to see a raise of hands who feels like they're experiencing some big transition. Yeah, I see quite a few people raising their hand. You know, in this last week, I also want to ask, how many people feel like they've felt, you know, the unexpected guest we talk about could be an animal, it could be a person, it could be a friend, a family, it also could be some emotion. Who feels like they had an unexpected guest of sadness come and visit them this week? They had some some flow of sadness come? Who feels like they had some frustration or some anger come? Or some loneliness? Who feels like they had some anxiety come? Or some kind of a feeling of unexplainable, undeniable, uncontrollable laughter? Who had that experience? Okay, so there's so many different experiences we had, and we're all meeting at this moment now in time, and looking at what is it? What is, how do we see more of the divine in ourselves and in each other, so we can unlock more of these mystical miracles of love? So right now on this call, I have with me two people actually, that were featured in this book. So in the chapter where I go to LA, for who's read that chapter, Dr. Ram starts sending me person after person after person, and I hear these remarkable stories. And in the book, all of a sudden, there's a rabbi from California that shows up, and his name is Rabbi Stephen Robbins. And he starts telling me his story about how he had many near-death experiences. And finally, where the doctors felt like this was it, and they were actually sending him home to just say, these are your last days, is when he met Dr. Naram. He was in a wheelchair at the time, and he had so much pain shooting through his whole body, shingles, so many of his glands and everything was shutting down. And being a healer your whole life, he said meeting Dr. Ram was the first time he felt like he could relax into the hands of another healer. And he went on this whole journey where it's so remarkable. I mean, the amount of transformation that happened in his life, where when he first came to India, he was in a wheelchair and on injections for all kinds of things, HGH and testosterone. One of my favorite stories is that the person hosting him was trying to help. He says, you need to make sure these are cool. But instead of putting them in the fridge, they put them in the freezer, which destroyed the whole supply. And at that time, he contacted his doctors desperate, saying, I need this. And they say, we can't even ship it because we can't guarantee it would get to you in this state. So he met with Dr. Ram. Dr. Ram says, no, I can help you. I'm very excited. I can help you. So started giving him some herbs, some diets, some different treatments. Actually, his blood tests before, and then he took a blood test before and then took a blood test later, and he was shocked. He called it a miracle of miracles that the first time in years, his testosterone was producing on its own naturally. His human growth hormone was at an age younger than his physical age. And he started to feel so good when he got off the plane. Him and, I love it, his wife is on this call too right now. Actually, I just want to say really quick, can you unmute them, Connie, or can you unmute yourself? Rabbi Robbins and Eva Robbins, I want to say big welcome and love you. So grateful that you're here with us.
It's not unmuted. Oh, there we are.
Thank you. It's a joy to be.
Love you.
Yeah. Eva, do you remember that moment when he walked off the plane after being in India that first time? Can you describe what that was like?
Well, I didn't recognize him. I came to the airport to pick up Steve, and I'm walking around and I'm wondering, where is he? And he tapped me on the shoulder. And when I turned around, I was really in shock, because when he left, he was in the wheelchair and he was looking probably very aged and very near that, I don't want to say leaving the world, but in a place that was not very positive. It was it was really horrific to see him that way.
She said she wasn't sure I'd come back from India alive.
Yeah, it seemed like an enormous adventure given his condition. And when I turned around and I saw him, I was really in shock. He was thinner and stronger and bright-eyed, and it was really an incredible transformation.
I can just imagine that surprise. I think Rabbi Robbins, you even told me that your hair started going, kind of reversing in color, and that your friends would take a double take, and they'd be like, Steve? Yeah, it's me.
When I walked into my doctor's office after I came back, he walked in and he dropped his notes and he looked at me and he shook his head and he said, that can't be you. He wasn't sure I'd come back alive either. but he knew that there was no place else to go but to India because he couldn't provide any help anymore.
And how many years ago was that now? How long
That
ago
was
was that?
2007.
2007. That is amazing.
And
13.
I went because the shingles damage I'd had on the whole right side of my torso left me in level 10 pain since 2005. I still have that same level 10 pain for now over 15 years. And I'm dealing with it without taking any opioids.
Wow. That is remarkable.
And I had
Oh,
another major health challenge on May 7th, my 76th birthday. I collapsed and they took me to the hospital and they thought that I'd had a major stroke. My brain was barely working. I couldn't communicate. I had massive organ failure, pneumonia, blood clots in my lungs, etc. And I came back 16 days later out of the hospital, and I'd gone from 205 pounds to 164 pounds. And then they put me in a different hospital and redid my medication and then put me in rehab. And so here I am now at 158 pounds and doing rehab every week, and I'm working out and I'm strong and present and doing my work again.
Oh, so grateful for that. I know.
So that's my miracle every day.
Yeah. For those who are, this is your first time on the Miracle Experiment game. You don't know this, but Rabbi Robbins was with us for the Global Healing Miracle Experiment. And he actually helped us launch it off with such a beautiful explanation of what is a miracle and did a prayer for us that was so beautiful. And then when this happened, Eva was in touch with us, and all of us on that call, we had moments of silence and sending you so much love, Rabbi Robbins. And so I saw when you got on this call today, those who were part of that were so excited to see you back again. And to me, it's such a gift. It's such a miracle, not just because of, it would be for anyone, but the connection that you have with Dr. Naram and the way that you're able to articulate how anyone can experience miracles in their life is so powerful. You know, before we talk about miracles, can you talk about when Dr. Naram passed? You had such a beautiful miracle experience. Even just briefly, I'd love for you to share that. And then also, how can anyone experience more miracles in their life?
Well, first of all, in Hebrew, in the ancient Hebrew Bible, not the Old Testament, because remember the Bible is written in ancient Hebrew, the word for miracle is pronounced nes, but that word also means test and challenge, so that there is no miracle without a challenge that is presented to you. And as you rise through your soul's purpose to meet the challenge, it isn't that God provides the miracle, it's that you become the miracle. And the miracle is the joining of your soul with its original source and its purpose. And so you elevate not only yourself, but all of those around you by providing an example, a purpose of how challenges are not punishments, but they are opportunities. So every miracle and challenge begins with a surprise, something that presents itself that you haven't been expecting. And so we turn toward the surprises and change our direction. And as we enter the surprise, we are astonished. Then all of the rest of our lives open up with new directions. And that's what happened with Dr. Naram. The moment I met him and he took my hands and I surrendered into his hands, it was that beautiful surprise. Reminds me of Moses entering the burning bush, which he turned to in surprise, and he surrendered into it, and the bush burned him and cleansed him free and set him on his path. And Dr. Naram did that with me in '07. And then when I went back in 10 for a second visit, and so many miraculous things happened there. He even had me working with a priest of Ganesh who'd been possessed with a demon for 25 years, and we helped remove the demon. So it was really an incredible process he and I had. The night before I was informed that he had left this world, I had a vision of him and I dancing together, circling around in the heavens, smiling and singing and dancing. And it was then the next day from you, Clint, that I learned that he had passed. So he's forever present. He is embedded in all of our consciousness, not just all of those who we help directly, but all of those who are joined in networks of spirit and healing and joy and the love that he spread to everybody. The honor he brought to Ayurvedic healing that is part of the network that holds the world together.
Wow. So powerful. I never feel like I get to hear enough from you, Rabbi Robbins, and from you, Eva, as well. I've had them both on several times. So we want to do something special for the people who are part of the Miracle Experiment game this time. We want to do a special where you can speak for an entire hour. And so maybe sometime this week, we can plan a time where we can go into more depth about the wisdom and the experience and the connections. I know, Eva, you're not only a rabbi as well, but you're a healer in your own right, and doing so many powerful connections you can help us make about how we can activate more to see ourselves more as the miracle and to experience more of meeting whatever challenge we're facing by rising to that. Would you be willing to do this? I'm putting them on the spot right now. I didn't ask them in advance, but sometime this week, one day this week, would you be willing to take a full hour with whoever wants to join and share more along those lines about how we can be the miracle?
Yeah, absolutely. You know,
She is my miracle.
and he's mine. We wouldn't be who we are if it wasn't for each other. You know, we've been together for 47 years, which is a long time. And we become who we need to be as a result of the sharing and the relationship and the kind of support that we give each other. But what I wanted to say as well is that we can participate in other people's miracles. So it's not just about having a miracle, being a miracle. It's about helping to create miracles for other people. And I think that that's something that's really important to be aware of, the power that we have. When Steve was in the hospital, you know, under COVID, nobody can go in to visit. Nobody can be with you. No one can be there if you're dying, or if you're going to leave this world. Sometimes you leave it without having the words and the look and the presence of somebody who really loves you. And at the moment when I thought that we might really lose him, a very dear friend who's a chaplain and rabbi went into his room and FaceTimed me, present for him. And the contact that we had eye to eye and the ability to sing and speak to him was so powerful that the next day there was a turnaround.
I came back.
It was really astonishing because his doctors were saying, you know, be prepared, he may not come home. And I had to be present for him. And I needed him to be present for me. And if it hadn't been for my chaplain friend who walked in there with an iPhone, who made it possible to have contact. So don't underestimate the ability to be able to affect something major, something really meaningful to another person, even in this context. We're all learning how powerful this context is because we can't be face to face. And I just want to make sure that people understand the power that they have for other people to help bring miracle in their lives as well.
We've been teaching people how to do this.
Wow, that sounds so exciting. We definitely should do. Which day this week can we do? Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday? Which day?
Wednesday would probably be best.
Okay, so I don't remember if there's a small group on that day, but let's say Wednesday at
Or
8
Thursday, you tell us. We'll make
Let's do-
ourselves available.
We'll change whatever
what-
schedule we need in order to do the best time for you.
And you know
No,
that it's 8 o'clock in the morning here. We're getting
yeah,
very early in order to be present for all of you who are all over the world.
how about we do Wednesday at 9 a.m. 9 a.m. Pacific time, so
That's
California
perfect.
time, Wednesday at 9 a.m.
That's
So
perfect.
everyone on this call, this is a bonus gift. If you want to learn how you can become even more miracle in someone else's life, how you can activate more of these miracle experiences through presence, then definitely join with us on Wednesday at 9 a.m. for this beautiful experience. Now, before we let you go now, I know I asked you, from my heart, you talked about the music of when Steve was in the hospital and you connected, and that was part of the healing. And so for everyone, I've asked actually if you could sing us something today. Would you still be willing to share some music with us?
Oh, always.
Yeah.
It's not, my voice is not its best at this hour, but I am happy to share a blessing. There's this beautiful melody, and I know you love songs about miracles, and I'm happy to do that one instead, whatever makes you happy. But because so many people are out there really in need of blessing, I wanted to share this particular Hebrew song, Makor Nefesh. It's about what the source of miracles are, what the source of healing. And, for us, it's the divine presence. For some people, it's a universal energy. For some people, it's just Mother Earth. For some people, it's the goodness that exists throughout the world. For us, it's very much in the name Adonai. And we can talk about that another time, but we see the divine as very much the source of all. So I'd like to share this song, which is called Makor Nefesh. It's both English and Hebrew, so I hope you'll appreciate the power of the Hebrew letters as well.
Please do.
As what it means. For life, for health, for hope, for beautiful, bountiful blessing. All praise to the source of being. Together, for life, for health, for hope, for beautiful, bountiful blessing. All praise to the source of being. Baruch Ata Adonai, Mekor Nefesh Kol Chai. And we all say, Amen. Amen. So next time we'll share the words on the screen and everybody can join in.
Oh, that feels so good. I can feel that all the way over here in India. It's coming, right?
For 1 second, I'm just going to do the melody without the words, and then everybody can just hum along, right? We want to bring everybody in. La 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 Amen. La 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 ya da 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 Amen.
Wow. Let's do it again. I can't get enough of that. So beautiful. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful. I'm just looking in the chat message. So many people are excited about Wednesday and joining for a full hour of going deep into, and also sharing with the music and sharing with the messages, how we can be more of the miracle, see more of the miracles, enjoy more of the miracles, and through these just basic ancient principles that are independent of any particular faith, but have commonalities from so many different traditions that we meet in this moment, this sacred moment, and look at in this point of your life in which you're experiencing such a big transition, in which the world is experiencing such a big transition. What better time to learn this particular thing than now? You know, so I'm so grateful, Steve and Eva, for joining us on this call. Thank you so much. Any final message you want to share with us?
Well, I'll let Steve have the last word. I just want to say that, you know, the vibrations that we experience inside our bodies are very healing. So being able to sing, being able to just chant is so healthy for all the organs. You know, I talk about massaging the organs through these vibrations. So just hold that moment in the privacy of your own home. People often feel so shy about singing, but you know, in this venue now, we're all in the privacy and of our own little environment. So just sing out and feel it inside of you.
In our tradition, song automatically unifies all the dimensions of the soul, and every cell and every molecule of the body. In our view, every human being is called an olam katan, which means a universe in miniature. So each of us is a microcosm of the macrocosm. And all of it is music, all of it is song, so that when we sing and we open ourselves fully without embarrassment, but simply voice all of the possibility that's so deep within us, that there is this great healing and unification that automatically takes place.
So beautifully said. You know, right before you leave, Rabbi Robbins, we have a special challenge we're going to give people this week that deals with mung soup and changing their diet. And can you just share about your experience with mung soup and changing your diet as we're getting ready to, for many people, this is their first time ever going to have mung soup.
What do you think of it?
Well, the mung soup was a miracle. When I first got to India, and Dr. Naram said, you're going to be living on mung soup. And the transformation living on the mung soup, along with some other Ayurvedic recipes, was just miraculous. And I lived on mung soup for many, many years. And whenever I'm not feeling good, I go back to it. And it always lifts me because it's filled with so much breadth of nutrition, and it's so easily digested and taken in by the body and by the soul.
Beautiful. So beautiful. I'm so grateful for your presence on this call and your presence on the planet, for your hearts. And I'm so excited for Wednesday. I know many people are going to be really excited to be blessed by that time together. Love you so much,
Thank
Rabbi
you.
Robin, Stephen. and Eva.
Thank you.
Thank you for the miracle of what you do.
You are extending Dr. Naram beyond the boundaries of this world and his physical life by joining all of us together. And that itself is the greatest of all miracles.
Ah, so beautiful. I feel that. I feel very honored and very grateful that in this space in which we're talking about these ancient secrets of this master healer, Dr. Naram, healing happens almost automatically as a result. And love, like a flow of love and a flow of healing, a flow of possibility. A possibility that no matter what is the darkest night you're facing, that there's a possibility for a miracle, for a solution based on this ancient science, based on this ancient wisdom. And so I just love that not only you lived it, but you understood it and you share it so beautifully and integrate in your life so much. So thank you so much.
On Wednesday.
Yeah, looking forward to Wednesday. Super.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
Shalom.
Shalom Aleichem.
We love you and we're with you. So we're for everyone now, we're going to make a slight transition in about the 10 to 15 minutes we have left. We're going to talk about some of the structuring about what's possible in your life for the rest of this 30-day experiment game. So this is the miracle experiment game. It's not meant to be too serious. We're meant to play this game following these 3 rules. And then there's going to be 2 optional activities over the next week. So what are the 3 rules of the game? I'll just review them again. Number 1 is getting more clear on what do you want. You know, the first thing Dr. Ram would ask everyone when he was in front of them, or one of the things he'd say is, what do you want? And so I'm really curious. I want to hear from some people. What's been your experience this last week as you got more and more clear on what do you want? And if you're still struggling, then even just making it simple, what do I want today? You know, and making it in form of a to be statement. I want to be generous. I want to be happy, or whatever it is. And in the form of a gratitude statement. The second principle is Atiti Devo Bhava. So treating the unexpected guest as if God himself or herself has come to visit you. Whether it's someone knocking on your door, whether it's an animal that's come to you, and going especially out of your way to feed dogs, cows, and crows. Dr. Ram had this philosophy, this principle. And as you do this, it's an experiment. It's not supposed to make sense logically, but it's an experiment. What kind of more miracles will happen in your life as you follow this principle? I think many of you saw the pictures I posted on Facebook. The day before this miracle experiment game, I was standing in front of the Hanuman statue. And I shared this experience last time, but I was really in my heart, I was saying, God, if I really needed you, would you be there? And I don't know why this prayer came out in the context of in front of that particular statue, but as I was walking home with Milo, right on the tree in front of my house, which I've never seen that close. In 10 years, I've only seen monkeys in this complex 2 or 3 times, but never that close, was a monkey sitting right in the tree, right in front of my house. And the timing of that was so ironic. And then over the 2 or 3 days since then, they've been on my balcony, they've been at the front entrance. And I think you've seen some of the pictures where just as the sun is setting, you see this giant silhouette of this monkey that even on the call earlier, Jana was asking me, is that the king of the monkeys? And here I am with this monkey, just feeling the magic, the mystical magic of all of creation. Like Rabbi Robbins had said so beautifully, we're all microcosm of the macrocosm, and we're all interconnected as well. You know, we're all connected in such a beautiful way that when you ask, you can receive. You know, that's one of the core principles. So by discovering what you want, by practicing this principle, Atiti Devo Bhava, and just noticing more the divine in yourself and all around you. And the third principle is infusing your life with more gratitude. So at the end of every day, I see Linda posting in the Facebook group every day, at least 3 things she's grateful for. And I know a lot of people are writing in your journal, but it's a very important point. And Jana, again, Jana, if you could unmute yourself, what was that quote that you posted about a grateful heart? How did that go again?
I think it said a grateful heart is a miracle for a magnet, or a magnet for miracles.
Yeah, a grateful heart is a magnet for miracles. And you can see that even with Rabbi Stephen Robbins and Rabbi Eva Robbins, how grateful they are for each other, and how grateful they are for this moment, and how grateful they are for music, and how grateful they are for their ability to love. You know, it's just so clear and so much in them. Jana, as you've been doing this, you're a couple months into the miracle experiment total, like 4 months since you even heard about it. But how have these principles made a difference in your life? I want to just hear again a little bit, and then I'm going to introduce you to everyone on a different level too.
Okay. Hello, everybody. These principles have changed my life, and I'm saying a very bold statement because it's very true. The principles came into my life at a very chaotic time. I was unsettled, and just by doing the principles in this book, identifying what I wanted, doing the gratitude, identifying that the chaos was actually my Atiti Devo Bawa, the unexpected guest. And when I can look for the divine in it, it actually turned it around, and it gave me more possibilities and more opportunities. I could see them. They were already there, but I couldn't see them before because my head was too buried into the muck, you know, too buried in the negativity. But when I was able to use these principles, it turned things around, and amazing things happened. You know, I was able to get a new job. I was able to, I could go on with all the different miracles that have happened. And to somebody, it may seem very small, or it may not even be a miracle to them, but in my heart, they absolutely were miracles. So I am so grateful for this community, for these principles, for this book. I'm so grateful for Dr. Naram, so grateful for Rabbi Robbins and his wife. Oh, it's just beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you, Clint.
Oh, beautiful. I want to say that as we're getting ready for the book launch, I put out an invitation for people to volunteer as a part of the book launch team. We call it the Miracle Dream Team. And I asked people what they'd be willing to do and if they'd be willing to lead. And I remember there was as I was reading through all the answers, some people were saying, yes, definitely I want to lead, or no, I don't feel comfortable. And when I read Jana's response, it just touched my heart. She says, you know, I don't feel comfortable leading. Something inside of me tells me that I should be doing something more, but I don't know. I just feel some hesitation. I don't feel confident enough, or some wording like this. And I'll tell you what, there was something in my heart that said, no, she is going to be the first leader. Like I just knew it. So I asked her to lead up a project, which was data entry. And I think I don't know if I talked about it on this particular miracle experiment game, but you know, for 10 years being with Dr. Ram, I documented thousands and thousands of cases like Rabbi Robbins, who you just heard. And on their photo or video release form, I had their contact information, but I'd never put it in a spreadsheet so we could contact them. And she led a whole team with such love that as they entered each name into the spreadsheet, they said, you know, like Vonda, she would give a blessing on that name. And Andrea from Germany, she said, I'm just amazed seeing here's one city and 30 forms and the variety of different things that were cured in that single day alone, or the people came that, you know, described their story of what had been cured over the months of them following the specific diet, of doing the marma, of doing the home remedies. She's like, it was such a beautiful moment. And Jana, I felt like guided it with so much love. And then at a certain point, she said, you know, I'm starting a new job and I have to focus on my life. And so she stepped out, and then she stepped back in as a mentor, as a miracle mentor last game. And I asked her, while I'm gone these next 3 weeks, so for 10 years, I've been going for 10 days of silence every year, according to Dr. Ram's recommendation for me. If you remember that story from my TEDx talk, I actually, after I saw these healing things happen with people I love, like my father, I said to Dr. Ram, I said, Dr. Ram, more people need to know this exists. You know, that this is an option. They may not choose it, but they should know it's a choice. I want to help you. And this is where he laughed. I was like, why is he laughing? He says, you know, Clint, you remind me a lot of myself when I was younger. I was like, oh, really? You know, he really touched my ego. I'm like, how? He's like, because I was also messed up and confused. You know, he's like, I was messed up and confused like you are. I didn't know which end was up. You know, I was just so busy with activity. And he said to me, he's like, your mind is way too crowded. He says, I need help, but not from you. I was like, why not? He says, because your mind is way too crowded. Even if I told you the secrets, you wouldn't get them. You just try and make sense of them. And that's what I do as a researcher. I try and make sense of stuff, you know. He says, but you wouldn't understand it with your heart. So I says, what do I do? He had me go for 10 days of silence, and it changed my life. So powerful, so incredibly life-changing. I'm going to share a little bit more of it on a recording next call, because one of the optional assignments, challenge assignments for you, is to not necessarily do full silence, but at least do a silence from social media. We're going to do a social media fast, a 7-day social media fast. There's going to be a couple options for that we'll talk about next week. But before we do the social media fast, we want to get your body, your mind, and your emotions in the best possible state so you can receive everything you want to. And so one thing that we want to do is this week, do a challenge. This is optional, but I highly encourage it, to do a challenge of a 7-day Hmong diet fast. So, and I'll talk next, thank you, Nirjana, about how you can do the 10-day silence. I'll give more explanation on that next week. But this week, we want to focus on diet. We want to focus on how you can, it's not just what you feed your body, but also what you feed your mind, your emotions. That's why the 3 gratitude statements are so powerful, why Aditi Devo Bhava is so powerful, why focusing on what you want instead of what you don't want is so powerful. But also we want to give your body a chance to fully benefit. And so there's going to be two of this optional assignment. There's going to be 2 options. One I call the fast easy track. The fast easy track is you only eat Hmong. So breakfast, lunch, dinner, you're hungry, you look at a food, you ask, is it Hmong? If it's yes, you eat it. If it's no, you don't eat it. It's so simple. It makes it so easy. All the questions are answered for that entire week. You know, now, if you want to make it a little more complicated, have a little more variety, you can add vegetables. No tomatoes, eggplant, okra, none of the nightshades, but you can also put in other vegetables, cooked leafy vegetables, cooked in ghee, and you can include that in your diet. The people on the experiment that did this last miracle experiment game, many of you who are on this call, and you could share your story, had such profound experiences. So many people lost weight. I know Elio talked about how he got off of 90% of his medications. I know in addition to combining that with the home remedy, Luisa from Brazil talked about her joint pain decreased, went away. The stage 4 cartilage damage reversed to stage 2. Wayne talked about how he could barely go up and down the stairs, but during that month he had run 100 miles. So what's possible for you, not just on a physical level, but what kind of clarity can come mentally? Right now you have a certain thing you think is normal. Well, I'm telling you it's not normal, right? But you'll get a new normal that has a clearer thinking, better sleep, more energy. What if you could have 10% more energy? What would you do with it? What if you could have 20% more energy? What if you could have 50% more energy? Well, your life would change. One very famous person who helps authors, I challenged him to do this. I said, it's easier to give 100% than it is to give 95%. Why? Because when you're giving 100%, you don't have to ask yourself every time, am I going to eat this or not? You just know you're going to do it. And it would just be an experience where you can see what's possible. It's an experiment. It's a game you can play. And at the end of that 7 days, the first couple days may be a little bit tricky, because maybe as it's detoxing your body, some stuff will start to move around. Maybe you'll feel a little bit more uncomfortable for the first days. Don't worry about that. Just do the commitment and make it through, and see at the end of that 7 days, what happens in your body, your mind, and emotions? What happens to your quality of sleep? What happens to your quality of energy? And then what do you do with all that extra energy? So with that extra energy, the next week, so starting next Sunday, we're going to do a 7-day social media fast. And the 7-day social media fast, I'll describe in a video at that time. Again, it's optional, but what if you had not only more energy, but you had less mental clutter, and you could focus on things that really matter and on the people that you really love. And so we'll describe that a little bit more at that time. But right now, we're about to break into groups. because I want to come back to the three main principles. Again, so this week is the Hmong fast, Hmong dal, and I'll give you a recipe for Hmong soup that's so delicious. In fact, you can get it from any of your miracle mentor, your mentor leaders in the small groups. You can get that recipe. We can give you the full thing for those that want to have the more complicated way. Again, it's optional, but I encourage you to do it just as part of the game, because then you can see what happens. Second of all, next week is that optional game. But regardless, the one thing you want to do throughout is follow these three principles. Focus more on what you want instead of what you don't want. Practice Aditi Devo Bhava. And if you don't have animals, if you don't have dogs or cows or crows to feed, you can make a donation. I saw some people made a donation this week to that link that was sent out, and I'll send you pictures of the street puppies that you feed, of the street animals that you feed. And then the third is infusing your life with more gratitude. So we're about to break into small groups. And in your small group, I want you to share your first week's experience. So Connie, if you can get it set up, I'd say maybe 4 or 5 people per group. And each person's going to have about 1 minute, 2 minutes to share what's been your experience with these three principles during this first week. Connie, do you know how to set up for breakout groups? I should have asked this part. Okay. So
how many do you want to have in the groups?
4 or 5 people per group. Okay, now I know some people may have to leave the call now. That's why I wanted to pack in the announcements. So Jana will be coordinating. We also have some special guests coming on the next calls, on the next Sunday calls. We'll have Krishna, Naram will be coming. We'll have some previously unreleased videos from Dr. Naram likely to come, and many beautiful, powerful things that will increase your experience of having more access to see and experience the miracles. Then Wednesday, you don't want to forget, Wednesday, if you can join at 9 a.m. California time, which is noon New York time, which is 9:30 p.m. India time, we'll have that special in-depth time with Rabbi Robbins and his wife. So if you need to leave the call now, I just want to tell you, I love you and I'm with you. As I'm getting ready to go into this month of silence, so I'll be off, I won't have access to my email or social media or my phone for an entire month. I've been looking forward to this for 10 years and I'm kind of scared actually. The other day I started to feel a little scared, a little nervous, but I know it's one of the most powerful experiences that I can have, and one of the best things that I can not only do for myself, but for everyone else, is for me to give myself this gift right now. It's not even Carol was saying, oh, it's good, we're glad you're able to take a break. The silence is not a break, it's intense. It's a really intense experience, but it's powerful because it helps you reframe everything. It helps you see life completely differently, and it helps you see yourself differently. And so I'll give some examples for anyone that wants to go for a pure silence. I'll give you some links how you can participate in that. But the social media fast will be a real beautiful microcosm of the macrocosm, and we'll talk more about that next week. But for right now, if you need to leave the call, I just want to make sure you understood those announcements.
Can you talk about the celebration too?
Yeah, great. And then after I come back in September, probably around the second week of September, we'll have a call for everyone who's participated in any miracle experiment game. We're gonna have a celebration, and we have some special things in store for that. So we'll be able to celebrate at that time and then talk about what's coming in the future. Many people want to learn how to become a healer. Thank you, Jana, so much. Many people want to learn how to become a healer. We're putting together a program, how you can learn more about the marma, how you can learn more about the diet, how you can learn more about the home remedies, even for people that want to learn pulse, how you can learn more about that. We'll talk about that at the celebration, that second week of September. But right now, I want you to focus 100% on these miracle possibilities of aligning yourself. Dr. Ram said there's knowing, there's doing, and there's being. The most important of them isn't the knowing or the doing, but it's actually the being. And so that's why this miracle experiment game is so powerful, because as you change your vibration, as you change your being, everything changes around you. Like Jana talked about, you may notice your job changes. You may notice that the people you thought you knew, you see a different side of them, because as you change, they change. So many people in the last miracle experiment game connected with people that they love that they hadn't talked to in years. You know, it's not just a health, a physical thing we're focused on, but it's health holistically. Your mental, physical, emotional, spiritual health. Before we go into the groups, Jana, anything you want to share about what you're looking forward to in these upcoming 3 weeks?
I am so thrilled for our special guests. I am so thrilled to be able to hear your miracles. You know, the miracles, they really are amazing. And when you do apply these principles, they show up. And it's just, I cannot wait to hear what you guys have to say. And, you know, I'm here to support you because this is your process. This is your way of being able to engage with what you want and the life that you desire. It's just, and I'm thrilled for the guests and for what's coming up, the celebration. I'm just really excited, and way to go on this trip that you're going to take, Clint. I mean, to me, that's very courageous what you're doing, and I wish you the best.
Oh, thank you. I want to say how much I love and appreciate and respect Jana and all the mentors. Don't miss your groups. That's a chance where you not only have a chance to learn from the mentors, but learn from the other people in your group, but most importantly, share. The more that you share, the more you become. So now you have a chance to share. As Connie clicks, and I want to just say thank you for everyone who's posted into chat, love to Rabbi Robbins, who's posted so many good questions. We'll get a chance to respond to those. But right soon, Connie's going to press create the breakout groups in just a minute. And as she presses it, you'll see on your screen where you can click join breakout group. And you'll want to make sure that you're unmuted. You want to make sure you unmute yourself. And as you enter the group, just introduce yourselves. And then one by one, each person can share what has been your experience so far. And the most important thing of this is just be honest. You can say, well, you know, I'm confused, or I've had a difficult time, or you can say, I had this thing happen so far. And then you can talk about what have you discovered about what do you want? What experiences have you had with Aditi Devo Baba? And what kind of gratitude have you infused more in your life? For those who have to leave now, this is a good time for you to exit. For those who join in this, feel free to talk for as long as you want to in your group. And then naturally, as your group completes, you can exit. That would just be the conclusion. We're not going to come back after the end of the groups, but just you can conclude in that way. Connie, as you press create the breakout groups, you can end the recording and just go ahead and go into your groups, meet these beautiful people from all over the world who are joining this miracle experiment game, and enjoy discovering more as you share what are the miracles that are occurring in your life. Lots of love to you. Namaste.
Namaste.